we've all heard the saying a million times: money doesn't buy happiness. It's the kind of phrase thrown around by those who seemingly have it all, or at least enough. But if you're struggling to pay the bills, keep food on the table, or afford the occasional night out, this saying might feel as comforting as a soggy blanket on a freezing day. Let's be real for a second. Money may not be the magic wand for eternal happiness, but it sure as heck improves life when it creates a situation where your basic needs are met. Or, God forbid, you have a little extra left over to save or invest. If you're watching this while sitting in a comfortable chair in a cozy house with enough food in the fridge to last the week, it's easy to forget what it's like to worry about those essentials. The reality for many is a constant grind, worrying about whether or not they can pay rent, afford gas, or even buy groceries. It's not about having the latest iPhone or the fanciest clothes. It's about survival and the weight that comes with financial insecurity. So, to say money doesn't buy happiness feels a little detached from reality. When you have nothing, money means everything. When you're scraping by, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around the idea that money isn't the key to happiness. At that moment, it's not just a need. It feels like the difference between despair and hope. Let's face it, life is easier when you can afford it. You don't lie awake at night wondering how you'll cover the rent or what you'll do if your car breaks down. You're not scrounging for the next paycheck to avoid the terrifying possibility of losing your home. When money takes care of those basics, something magical happens. Freedom. This isn't freedom in the sense of owning a mansion, taking expensive vacations, or buying your dream sports car, but rather the freedom from financial anxiety that gnaws at your very existence. It's about having enough that you don't feel like the walls are closing in. If you've never lived paycheck to paycheck, it's tough to fully appreciate just how liberating it can be to have money in the bank. A buffer, a safety net. That's where money makes all the difference. And if that doesn't bring some level of happiness, then what does? The myth of enough. A lot of people imagine there's a magic number that once they hit it, everything will be perfect. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work that way. If you're on the outside looking in, you may think, if I only had this amount of money, everything would be fine. But studies have shown that after a certain point, the positive effects of money on happiness plateau. That point is typically when your needs are comfortably met, and a little extra is thrown in for security. So, what happens when you hit that threshold? Do you magically transform into the happiest version of yourself? Not quite. Happiness doesn't scale infinitely with income. It's about security and comfort, not extravagance. Once you're no longer worried about paying bills or affording healthcare, the joy of having more money tends to level out. Money equals options, and options equal happiness, sort of. What money does do, quite tangibly, is provide options. Want to take a vacation? Money makes that happen. Want to change careers or take some time off to pursue a passion? That's much easier when you've got a cushion. With more options comes the ability to make choices that align with what genuinely makes you happy. And whether that's spending time with family, traveling, or investing in hobbies that bring fulfillment. But here's where it gets tricky. Those options only bring happiness if you know what to do with them. If your idea of happiness is spending time with loved ones, but you keep chasing money to buy the latest gadgets or fancy cars, you might find that extra cash isn't doing much for your overall well-being. It's about making conscious choices with the financial freedom you've gained. Now, let's get real. One of the most important, if not the most important advantages to having money is to get you through life's challenges when they come up, and they will. Imagine not having to worry about that strange sound your car's making, or how you're going to pay hospital bills for a loved one, or how you won't have to worry about raising enough money for your pet's life-saving surgery. Money provides insurance against the worst that life sends your way, and as a result, takes a huge weight off your shoulders going forward. Imagine your quality of life, knowing there's a buffer between you and unexpected, life-changing expenses. Walking on eggshells and stressing about the inevitable is no way to live. The dark side of chasing wealth. So, having money is a good thing. I'm sure you'll agree, but there's another side to this coin. There's a point where the pursuit of money can actually detract from happiness. We've all seen the stories: the workaholic who never has time for their family, the millionaire who feels empty despite their wealth, or the celebrity constantly in the spotlight but visibly unhappy. Chasing money as the sole purpose of life is a dangerous game. When your identity and self-worth get wrapped up in your net worth, you're setting yourself up for a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. You'll always need more money, more stuff, more status, and it never ends. This kind of hollow pursuit can drive people into misery despite their financial success. The happiness trade-off: money versus time. Money doesn't just come at the cost of itself. Sometimes it's a trade-off with time. The more time you spend grinding away for a bigger paycheck, the less time you have to enjoy the things that matter most: family, friendships, and personal fulfillment. Many of the happiest people in the world aren't the wealthiest, but those who've found a balance between work and life. Those who have enough to be comfortable but don't obsess over the accumulation of more are truly living their best life. A significant chunk of happiness stems from relationships and meaningful experiences. If you're chasing money so hard that you sacrifice those connections, no amount of cash will fill that void. What good is a fat bank account if you're lonely, burned out, or too busy to enjoy what you've earned? So, does money buy happiness? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. Money buys peace of mind, security, and comfort, all of which can contribute to happiness. It provides choices which can lead to a more fulfilling life. However, it's not a direct ticket to a happy life. If you're missing the deeper elements, such as meaningful relationships, purpose, and balance, money will only take you so far. So, the bottom line is, money may not buy happiness directly, but it sure does make life better once you've secured the basics. Happiness, in the end, is a complex mix of emotional, psychological, and social factors that go beyond mere financial wealth. How much money is enough? The magic number for happiness, according to various studies, seems to vary. But a common theme is that once basic needs are covered and there's a cushion for comfort, the gains from having more money diminish. For some, that number might be $75,000 a year. For others, it's slightly higher. It's personal. But the key takeaway is this: past a certain point, more money doesn't add as much value to your happiness as you might think. Once you hit that comfortable zone, it's time to ask yourself, what do I want to do with this security? If you keep grinding for the sake of grinding, you may find yourself missing out on what truly brings joy. At that point, you're not building a better life. You're just building a bigger bank account. A balanced approach to money and happiness. The healthiest way to view money is as a tool, not a goal. It can improve your quality of life, reduce stress, and give you the freedom to pursue your passions. But if you let it become the be-all and end-all of your existence, it can end up being the very thing that steals your joy. Focus on finding balance. Use money to meet your needs, provide security, and create opportunities. But don't let it dominate your life. Ultimately, happiness is about more than just dollars and cents. It's about how you use the resources you have to create a life that feels fulfilling. In the end, money might not buy happiness directly, but it sure can make it easier to get there if you know what to do with it.